So here's something nobody tells you about being in charge. It is a lot harder than it looks, especially when you never actually asked to be in charge, especially when the whole thing started because of a poster about recycling. Let me explain how we got here. It was a Tuesday. Mrs. Okafor walked into class and wrote 4 words on the board: Class President Elections. Friday. She said anyone who wanted to run needed to put their name on the sign up sheet by end of day. Then she sat down and went back to marking things in red pen. Nobody moved. I looked at Jordan. Jordan looked at the ceiling. I looked at the sheet. It had 0 names on it. 0. Now, here is the thing. I was not planning to run for class president. That was never the plan. The plan was to survive year 7 with minimal involvement. Keep a low profile. Eat lunch. Go home. That was a good plan. But then Marcus walked past after school and said, "Nobody's running. That's kind of embarrassing." And he laughed casually like it was nothing. I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I know when a challenge has been issued. I signed up. I told Jordan at lunch the next day. He stopped chewing. He said, "Wait, for real?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you know what the class president actually has to do?" I said it didn't matter because I wasn't going to win. I was just going to run. Very important difference. This was already going wrong, and it was only Wednesday. I made a poster that night. It said "Vote Kevin" in big letters. Under that, I wrote, "Things will be better." I don't know what things. I didn't specify. I thought it was a strong message. Mom looked at it and said, "Better than what?" And I said, "Mom, please." She wrote a note on her clipboard. I do not know what the note said. I chose not to ask. I put the poster up Thursday morning. Then I went to class. Then something happened that I still cannot fully explain. Tyler Walsh, who sits in the back and has never once raised his hand for anything, pointed at my poster and said, "Huh, fair enough." He said it like I had made a reasonable point, like I had said something wise. Someone else said, "I mean, things could be better." Someone else said, "Yeah." I stood very still. By the time Mrs. Okafor called the room to order, 3 people had said they were voting for me. 3. That is a significant number when the total candidate count is 1, which is me. I had a plan. It was to lose quietly. That plan was no longer available. I went home and told Dad. He said, "Class president? Great. What's your platform?" I said my platform was "Things will be better." He said I needed specific policies. He then told me that when he was in school, he ran for form captain on a promise of longer lunch breaks, and it worked. He said this like the 1990s were directly applicable to my situation. I said, "Thanks, Dad." I went back to my room. Jordan texted me that night. He said, "You know Priya is running now, right?" I did not know that. Priya Mehta. She had a presentation. She had a presentation with slides. She had slides about the new water fountain she was going to get installed, the unfair homework policy she was going to reform, and something called a student well-being committee. She had printed handouts. I had a poster that said, "Things will be better." Anyway, Friday came. I gave a speech. It was 60 seconds. I said I thought things could be better and I would try to make them better, and also I thought we should have more time between classes to get to our lockers. People clapped. It was a normal amount of clapping, not huge. Priya gave a 2.5 minute speech. People clapped more. She had a slide deck she was not able to show because the projector wasn't working, which, honestly, I think worked in my favor because it looked like things had already gone wrong for her, and things go wrong sometimes. That's just the truth. We voted. Mrs. Okafor counted. She read out the result. Kevin, 14 votes. Priya, 13 votes. I would like to say there was a long pause here for dramatic effect, but there wasn't. Mrs. Okafor just said, "Kevin is your new class president," and went back to marking things in red pen. The room was very quiet. Jordan looked at me. I looked at Jordan. He said quietly, "So, what are you actually going to do?" I said, "I have absolutely no idea." Lily, when I got home, said, "How does it feel to be in charge of people?" She looked like she had been waiting years to say that sentence to me. I am the class president now. This was not the plan. I don't have a water fountain. I don't have slides. I have a poster in the hallway that says things will be better, and I have to figure out what that actually means. 14 people are counting on me. Which, okay, fair. Dear Diary, I am class president because I was the only person brave enough to step up. Also, I am going to look into the locker situation because that is a real problem, and I stand by it.